All right, CNT125, Voice over IP Lab. We're now down to gathering our configs for submission. So for this, we want to grab the switch config. So make sure here, we'll command line into the switch. There we go, enable. We're going to do a show run and make sure you're doing space, space, space until you get the whole config to show up, okay? Don't just give me the top part of it. Make sure it's all there. I'm going to copy all this down to the end. I'll do a copy. I'll open up my notepad and I will paste that in, and I will call this file save as. I think I'm having you do, I'm going to go to my Voice over IP Lab. I think we're doing Voice over IP switch config, I think is what we're using. Okay, so there's my Voice over IP switch config. We're going to do file new, and we're going to do the router next. I will close that out. I'll open up the router. Now make sure everything's still connected and still running. Okay, show run. I'm going to do space, space, space. It's going to take a couple because we have a lot more config in here now. And I'm going to copy all of this down to the end. Make sure you got it all. Copy. Come over here. Paste. File save as. And I will call this Voice over IP router config. Okay, now we are not done yet. Almost there. Okay. The last thing I want is I want to do a show ePhone. I want to see that all your phones are connected, registered, and basically moving traffic around. And to do that, I would do show ePhone. Okay, and this shows that they're all connected, they're all registered. They're all connecting, they're all sitting idle, ready to go. Okay, that's what we want to see. That way I know all of your phone configuration is functional as well. So I will copy this. Again, I'll open my notepad here. I'm going to paste this in, and I will call this a, I think I'm just having you call it show ePhone. So I'll do Voice over IP, show ePhone kind of thing. I can just do it that show ePhone that way. There we go. And that shows all your phone configs are correct. They're all registered. They're correct, and they're sitting here. Your phones are sitting here ready to go. So make sure you do those 3 pieces of config. Then, last but not least, save your packet tracer file. So we'll do, if you haven't done already, file save as. Okay, and make sure you leave the PKT on. Leave the PKT on. So do the file save as, give it a name of like Brown Voice over IP. Obviously use your name, not my name, but use your name, Voice over IP network kind of thing, and make sure you leave the PKT on the end. That way I can open your config and look at your phones and make sure they're able to ring and so forth. So when I grade this lab, I typically download this file first, load it, let everything register. I start skimming through your configs. And then I come over here and I literally pick up 2 phones and make a call, make sure everything's functioning in here. I don't see any red triangles or whatever. Last but not least is our questions. Well, the first one should be pretty easy now, because that was your show ePhone that we did when we had the phone call, and that was our G729. That was the codec that was using. The setup was the first protocol we looked up, the skinny protocol, SCCP. That's the one that was talking from the phone to the router and the router back to the phone. The payload protocol was our RTP. That's the one that was actually going phone to phone, directly phone to phone. That was the actual payload protocol. And the last one, that should be pretty easy for you. Just make sure you include your source. Make sure you include your source where you're getting that pricing from. And those should be your questions for the lab. Make sure you save those and submit them with your lab. So there is basic IP phone config, kind of done like you would do in a real company, using the MAC addresses and everything else, and having a functioning IP phone network.